Jazz music is a consistently evolving art form that mixes creative group collaboration with individual spontaneous composition known as improvisation. The roots of jazz can be traced to West African use of rhythmic syncopation, polyrhythms, spontaneous creativity, and call and response techniques blended with European instruments, harmony, and song forms. Like all music, and especially music born in the Creole cultures of the Americas, jazz was initially also an outlet for the African American or Creole musician to express emotion, create a bond with the listener, or express the joys and pain of life. From the earliest ragtime of Scott Joplin or boogie-woogie piano styles of Jelly Roll Morton, jazz became known as one of America's most influential musical styles in the 1920s through the instrumental funeral processions in New Orleans and became known eventually as traditional jazz. With trumpeter Louis Armstrong leading the jazz explosion in America, jazz gave the world arguably the most profound convention in world popular music today, the rhythm section. A contraption of drums and cymbals, a bass instrument, and a banjo or later guitar or piano, the rhythm section provided what many today call the beat to virtually all popular musical genres. As jazz spread up the Mississippi to urban centers in the North, first innovative black musicians and later white musicians would expand the instrumentation of jazz ensembles in the 1930s and 1940s to what became known as big band jazz. As radio and later television became the medium for hearing musicians and making superstars, jazz musicians, unfortunately mostly white, would become household names. But since all styles of jazz had found their origin primarily in the black communities, jazz would go through numerous stages of reconfiguration as black musicians in the bebop era repossessed their art, and later as black and white musicians eventually shared their experiences and the capacity of jazz to blend with virtually any style of music. Today, jazz musicians are generally held to three standards. 1. They must know and respect the diverse stages of its evolution and ancestry. 2. They should be strong in the art of improvisation or spontaneous composition. And 3. They should be strong advocates of what we call musical democracy, working in teams as musicians.
Improvisation is the synthesis of ideas that come from prior knowledge and experience that we use in this music to create new modes of expression, sometimes based on old formats, but we're looking for a way to become individual in our art form. Regardless of instrument, you must have a basic knowledge of the workings of music, harmony, theory. You have to be able to practice your instrument to have some type of facility on it. Now, everybody's facility is not the same. That does not mean that one who plays with a great flair has more improvisational skill than someone that plays in a more simple manner. Where what we look for in our art form is meaning. Knowing the chord and the scale makeup of this song, then you would take it and you would take this melody and you would try to make it your own. So you might use a chord structure that pleases your ear. And for me, a situation might arise like this. Okay, that's one way I might approach it. The elements of improvisation. There are explanations that when I speak to non-musicians who think that we are pulling things out of the air, that it's a magical process, but It's truly not. It's a process that's based on knowledge and experience, and we improvise every day as human beings. So it's about you having a knowledge base. It's about you having the disciplines that were given in your field and using them and experimenting with them. And you're looking for a product. Whenever one improvises, you're always looking for some type of product in the end. And what it is that you come up with, then you go back and reflect upon, is that the product I was really looking for? When there is a theme that starts the composition, the theme is stated. The theme may be stated more than once, and it also may be stated by more than one of the instruments involved at once. In this case, you're listening to 3 different instruments stating the melody at the same time. One of the things that jazz teaches every student of music, whether they are a practitioner or a listener, is that you must take risks. Also with improvisation, we must remember that, individuals improvise, but groups and teams often improvise together also. If they have a general idea of what they're doing and where they want to go. So you're going to have an inner dialogue happening within this musical situation that you're about to see between the piano, bass, and drums. What you're going to have somebody making a personal expression using the thematic statement as a guide with the support and the further adding to the dialogue by the bass and the drummer in this case. Bassist will be taking a solo in this composition, and I will be supporting his ideas as well as the drummer supporting his ideas as to how he is interpreting the material. listen to the percussion or the drum solo, you'll find that not only is she playing rhythmically, but she's playing melodically, using the theme as a basis for her improvisation also. And then the whole trio is restating the theme to bring this musical conversation to its peak and to its finish.
A 12-step. Ah, yes, a very fine one.